Welcome to Step by Step, the podcast that takes you on a journey through the lives of some of the most successful leaders in their industries. Each episode, we'll bring you a new leader's story, showcasing their journey to success and the challenges they faced along the way. We'll delve into every aspect of their story, step by step. So join us on this journey as we take you step by step through the lives of some of the most inspiring and successful leaders in the world. Step by Step is produced by Marketing in Asia, and here is your host, Azleen.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back again to Step by Step, uh, a program powered by Marketing in Asia. And today we have Faizal Sohaimi. He is the CEO and a partner of Connection at Work. So basically, Faisal and his company are consultants. So he and his team help firms, brand, corporations, startup, um, small and big businesses, uh, helping them on their B2B selling. So for today, we would like to know more about his journey. We would like to know more about his success stories and challenges and some wisdom. So how are you, Faisal? Welcome to the show.
Good, good,
I like your
good
office
this morning.
full of
Uh,
books. Okay, do
that's
you do you do
really
you actually read them all or just for display?
actually I've given away half of my books. So some given away. So the one that you can see is the remaining and what I think I might want to read again. So the rest I've forgotten because
Okay.
space limitation. I don't have a big house.
Okay, Faisal. We thank you for your time to join us this morning all the way from Kuala Lumpur. But I want to know, actually, B2B is a very complex, topic, but not for you. And I'm sure you have done this for many, many years, more than 20 years, I would assume. But before we go to the B2B, maybe you can share a little bit about how do you actually come about this career, um, starting from your career in those employment days, what makes you jump into consulting?
Okay, I began with as an engineer, a very technical engineer. I worked in the power plant for about a year, got so bored with it because it's just sitting looking at numbers and lights. And I moved to offshore, very hands-on technical person for that. That was about for
Mm.
5 years. And thanks to the 1998 1999 downturn, the company let me go. So that was okay. That was the first time I was being let go. A few months later, because I thought I didn't want to go offshore anymore. I didn't want to go to well sites anymore. I explored the world of sales. So I
Oh,
explored the
that's
world
good.
of sales. Yeah. I explored the world of sales into two prongs actually. One was I got a job in selling oil and gas components, equipment, and the other one was multi-level marketing. So you have B2B and B2C, and somehow I actually got successful in the MLM side faster than a bit faster than the B2B side of things. I actually dropped my MLM part because I got a huge opportunity at the time in B2B side things. We manage.
Mm.
Somebody came and asked me, hey, do you know this national oil company wants to use this particular kind of coverall? I said, they already have coveralls, but and then explore lah. Okay, fine. So then I went to explore a bit here and there, talk to this, that, talk to that people, and so on. Um, Before we know anything, in about 8 months, we got a 30 million ringgit contract in the space
Oh,
of 8 months.
congrats.
Yeah. So we got that. Really jump into into business with no clue how to do it. Actually, I mean, I was a salesman already. At that time, I was like 2, 3 years doing sales, but you still crawling, trying to figure out, made up many mistakes, but we got that contract. So that was like kind of sad. I'm in business now. Um,
Yeah,
so I'm doing a mix of entrepreneurship as well as being sales for since then, and that has been 24 years, 24 years now. That's like the age of my son. Um, in just before the MCO or the pandemic, again I found myself without a job because the company think I thought at the time I was not doing my job, even though I brought in multi-million, multi-year contracts. It's just not the one that they expected. Even though I brought more work than what they expected, they said that's not what we want you to do. So bye bye. I said okay, fine. Just calculate my commission and I would go fine. At that time, I was introduced to an entrepreneurship training. So I picked that one up, and from the students that we had, I realized these people, although they were seasoned businessmen, and their company has been big. I mean, not that big. It's just like SMEs, 20 million, 30 million companies. But it was very clear that they needed a lot of guidance when it comes to two things for me: sales
mm,
and also accounting. So
yeah,
what we see in most SMEs, I don't know about the rest of the world, but in Malaysia at least, it's about 1 million SMEs in Malaysia. And the two things very glaring is about sales and accounting. The next one, it could be marketing because they have no clue where they want to who they want to sell it to. They're just looking at um, within 5 kilometers of where they are. I think so. Right. So that's how I got into sales and I got into business consulting. I wouldn't say coaching so much because I don't have the patience for coaching. I feel like I want to slap someone, you know. So
yeah.
I would like to like consult. I look at what they do. I say, "Look, what you want to do," and I feel let's do it this way. Let's help you this. And that's how I started. I started in consulting.
But again, Faisal, when you say that there's a gap, right? When you notice one of your client needs some guidance, and you also notice some of the companies out there, a large number of them, who has a big gap when it comes to selling and also marketing. Let's talk about selling into it. What do you see actually when you see that there's a gap there, especially on the B2B sales, on the B2B selling?
B2Bs, be it small or big,
Mm,
or even a listed company. I was just texting you earlier on this particular software company. It's a huge
mm,
software company, multinational, been selling all over the world, but they're still thinking about selling their software. So other companies, smaller, much smaller, they always started with a product or a service, right? And their thinking is that how do I move or how do I sell my product or service? That is number one on their mind. Or sometimes they see, oh, this product is good. You get into the market, you sure can make a killing, right? And then they go into the market, nobody wants a product, right? Even they have a service, thinking, or they talk to their friend, wow, oh, people need a service, bro. Why not you go into the market, do this? Fine, great. But 3 months down the road, maybe only 3% or three clients that call up to do service, right? And it's always product and service oriented. They're thinking, how can I sell this service rather than solving somebody's needs. Okay, I also didn't, to be honest, I didn't discover this early. I discovered this quite late because I told you my first sales job. I had my first sales thingy. I was selling MLM products. Well, we got great shampoos, we got great soap, we got great this, right? And you go to some guys and say, even great deodorant, for example. You go to one guy, I don't even wear deodorant. So shit. So, for example, if I try to sell shampoo, Azleen and me, hang on,
I
we
don't wear
have very
shampoo.
little.
I don't use shampoo.
So, but the guy, if the guy is thinking of products, right? Because most MLM, like it or not, is focused on household thingy, right? So if you trying to move all these things to a single person, then you'll be stumped, right? So the same like big companies, you have a software or you have a certain product, a pump, a motor, whatsoever. So you come to a company, you try to sell the product, and people will say, I'm already using this product and it works fine for me. So, and then you
Mm.
stump. And in my early days, yes, I was stumped for 9 months. For my 9 months, I had no business whatsoever. But somehow my manager then decided to keep me instead of firing me after 3 months. And yes, she was rewarded with a 500,000 order in about month nine, like that. Right? And I, at that time, I achieved the order actually by fluke. It's not it's not even something that I sell normally. I had to sell cable. Simply, I had to sell two types of cable. But I went everywhere. Everyone say, "Oh, we're using this cable, that cable, no big deal." But the order that I get, which was huge, for because my target then was only 600,000, and I got a 550,000 order from one order. So the boss asked me, "What did I do?" I said, the client said, "Can you guys do this?" I said, "Let me check." Probably. Oh, yes, we have it in our catalog. I said, "Can you help me with this?" And that's it. We got the order. So I realized that later on that everyone has a need, has a want somewhere. So you have to find those rather than trying to move what you have in your bag. So that's
Yeah.
what I discovered.
So you discovered that it's not one to sell product, but instead go and get to know your client, your customer, see what the problem is, and whether your product or service can fit into that gap that they have at the moment. I mean, solving their problem, right? So when you use this method, how long usually the cycle? How do you actually maneuver? Okay, because like when you were trying to get yourself closer to the client, and normally not just one people in that company. Usually you need to talk to a few people, a team, some decision makers, or user, or tech. So how long is this cycle take usually?
Up until last week, to be honest, I thought this is all gonna be very long since I hear. Okay, until I spoke to another good
Mm,
friend.
mm,
He had been observing me, and so last week I got scolded by him. He said, "Why are you saying this? You actually have actually you can do a short cycle." I said, "How?" And then he asked me, "Do you realize this?" And then I recall one of the training I went for sales and entrepreneurship. Because otherwise, my sales cycle I can tell you very long, but when it happened, it really happened huge, right? But one incident or two actually, I was in the course. Everybody couldn't sell the thing that they were supposed to sell. What we were asked to do, we were given a book of books, and at that time in those days you have CD-ROMs, videos, you have CD-ROMs, right? So we were supposed to go into shopping malls and sell the training program on the book and on the CD-ROM. So we were given a space of 2 hours, and it was made into a competition. The person who could sell the most would win. So in that 2 hours, I went to Subang Parade And you know when you want try to sell something in places like that, Subang Parade, malls like that, first thing security when he notice you, he will chase you out. Okay, so I had to figure out something. What I did was, which is the same thing I'm gonna teach next week probably, is to connect and engage. In some products, in something you can do very quick. So I actually that day I was the only person who managed to sell three books and two CD-ROMs. Nobody else sold, right? In that space of 2 hours. So there are certain way of doing things, of connecting to people. That's what I realized. But also when my last big sale, it was supposed to be 500 million ringgit, if not for the oil crash in 2014. That took me a long time. That took me a 2 year period. In fact, it took me across two companies to make that happen, because the implementation, the application was huge. There were many, not just people. It's the national oil company. They have many regions, many big bosses, many GMs, many VPs. All have to be shown this is before they say, okay, I want this, right? So that one took about 2 years. And also another short one that I had was when the client already been thinking something about it, we received a call from a shipyard in Indonesia on Friday evening, just when we were about to finish work at 5:30. They asked us to come to present to them on Monday, which we couldn't do because we had a weekend of team building. So we said, can we come on Tuesday? So they said, fine, it's okay. So came back from team building, straight away rush home, take another set of clothes, went back to the airport. So we went to Bali, we came back with everything, came back to Jakarta, arrived in Jakarta about 9 o'clock, presented to the management at 11 o'clock, and we were very fortunate because not only the big boss of the big boss, the CEO and the chairman was there. We had all the CXOs in there, CEO, CFO, CF, all the O's, and
Mm.
also the technical heads. So we presented for about 1 hour, and in fact, to be honest, we didn't have much chance to bull because we were bombarded by questions. Can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? Basically, the client wants to buy it already, wanted to buy it already at the time. It's just that we have to satisfy certain things. We didn't realize that we were so-called handling objections or satisfying their needs. But by the time we finished, about 1 hour, 15 minutes later, the CEO looked left, looked right, said, gimana Pak? How is it? So the CFO said, no issue. The money is there. The technical said, this is very good. Tak, tak, tak. Okay, got the sale. I was like, how the heck did I do
Wow.
this? I mean, 1 hour, from everything. So then, but if we dissect that what happened, it actually was not 1 hour. It happened in 1 hour because the client was ready to buy. It's just like when you go into a clothing store, right? You know you want that particular polo shirt, red color in Uniqlo, so you just go and take it and pay, right? But
Mm.
before
Yeah.
you do that, you probably have gone to 10 shops. So B2B selling, and especially the one that involves so many decision makers, so many departments and so on, that would take anything between 6 months to 2 years. That's my experience.
Wow. You were saying this one is it depends. Sometimes it will take months, sometimes it will take weeks, sometimes it takes years, right? But at the end of the day, it's all about be there at the right time. And the client really needs it, right? So is there any formula or not? Or maybe any guide that you can share while we are qualifying, asking questions, covering some people. to go to that point where we need to be there at the right moment, at the right time when when that company needs it, how how to really bring that journey into that moment? How do we do that? Is there a formula or?
You know, have you ever bought a handbag for your wife or bought a
Mm,
watch for your
mm.
husband, right? So, and then we had times when we bought it and the wife look at the handbag. I don't like lah this
I
one.
don't like
You
it.
know, maybe you bought it at 5,000 ringgit, blah blah blah. 5,000 ringgit handbag or $10,000 handbag whatsoever, but because simply it's not what they want. They want a handbag, right?
Yes,
They want a handbag, but it's not the handbag that they want. Okay,
yes,
so
yes.
that's my experience with my spouse or spouse and ex-spouse. Okay, been married twice, and the client is the same thing. Okay, and in one of the books I read is about strategic selling. Okay,
Mm,
you approach a company, you approach an organization with an interest not to sell, with an interest to get to know them. This is what you do actually at networking sessions. Okay, when you have networking sessions, you have your strategy earlier on. You know that you have your revenue to meet, you have the things in your portfolio to sell. That one is already done. You know what you have to do, right? But you have
yeah.
to find out people or company who want your things. Even that short
Mm,
selling that I did in the supermarket in the mall is I
mm,
had to identify that this person or there were three persons sitting at the secret recipe. These people were definitely entrepreneurs, right? So entrepreneurs, they are always thinking, I want to learn, I want to learn, right? So if I try to sell that book to a family, auntie, uncle, and two kids, forget it, man. Nobody's going to buy it, right? But when I realized, and okay lah, I become busybody bit, so I walk around secret HQ, I eavesdrop on the conversation, right? When they speak, you can feel like uh, this person is an entrepreneur. He is thinking about something. He needs to learn about certain business. I have the tool. Then my simple thing is that I heard that you guys are entrepreneurs, right? You are businessmen. Oh yeah, yeah, we do this business, that business, blah blah blah. And I and the conversation moved forward. I got to know them. Da da da. I come to the point. If I can help you to know this thing a bit here and there, would you be interested? Oh yes. So I said, what you have?
mm,
I got a book and a CD-ROM. Right? So that in a short space. But when it comes to a huge organization, like the National
mm.
Oil Company, I've actually
Correct.
went to all their three operating regions. And in KL itself, I went to how many offices, I can't remember anymore. I calculated, I checked my calendar, it was 48 meetings, okay, to understand their direction, what they
Mm,
do, what are their challenges, what their budget process is like, who have their contracts, and so on. Da, da, da. So when I identified the need, I said, would you guys be interested if something like this can help you? And they came to the point, yeah, but you have to put a tender that things take at least 6 months. We have a problem now, we need this thing quick, blah blah blah. So I said, fine, let's check out with your procurement people what are the contract we can write on. So I helped them to that stage. I checked what
mm,
contracts they had that not too far different, and then we wrote onto the contract, just put money into the contract, and we achieve by the time they say yes, I want it, we achieve the thing in 1 month, right? But
mm,
prior to that 1 month, I spent 2 years knowing their process, knowing their requirements, knowing their organizational growth that they want, and what are really the pinpoint that how they got pinched and so on. So that takes some a lot of time before you can be at the right spot.
So fact finding is key. It's always key. Fact finding and then get to know in depth in this set of facts, whether there's a requirement or not, right?
It's not just about fact finding,
Mm.
it's about connecting,
Yeah,
connecting
connecting.
and right. So fact finding is simple. Fact finding, you can just ask question, the guy can choose to answer or not, right?
Mm.
And you go into that mode. Most often, people would be secretive, okay. But when
Right.
you have connected and engaged with them for some time, in Malaysia quite easy. You meet some people, you first call them encik, they call you encik. But the moment they call you aku engkau or you and me direct, it's like a friend kind of terms,
Okay.
right? Then they start to spill out actually. This is my problem. I have this, blah blah blah. Procurement is like this, boss is like this, that stuff. So there is a time when you actually have to pay attention. Okay, you don't have to ask those questions anymore. You let them spill their guts. Right? So I won't. That's why I won't call it fact finding, because I remember my first sales manager gave me a clipboard. Oh, when you go to see a client, you must know these 16 questions, the answers to 16 questions. And I see insurance agents do that. They walk into a mall with a clipboard with a questionnaire. The moment the security guard sees them, out, right? So you come to the point where you want to connect and engage without being formal. One
Okay.
day,
So meaning bonding is key also. So I mean fact finding and then you somehow evolve it further to building a relationship, engaging them, communicating with them, and eventually create friendship, and then somehow monetize it along the way if there's an opportunity. Now, what happens if you do all this and then you only find out that there's no opportunity there for that moment, for now? How do you go about that situation? Will you back away, or will you like, "Okay, let's move on," or you continue with that friendship, or how?
okay. I would suggest that anyone who listens go to read two books here. Number one is
Mm.
Surrounded by Idiots, about knowing people's personality and, and how they do things. Number two is The Go Giver by Bob Burg. In The Go Giver, there's a very important point there. It says that, or Bob says there, that when someone is within 3 feet of you, right? Either in a queue, you're in an LRT, MRT, if you can speak, you put something in your heart that you think, what, how can I possibly help and enhance this person's work or life, right? So your approach is different. When you go to a client, sometimes, to be honest, I go there, like I said, even the client is not there. Not to talk about the opportunity, it's not there. The
Yeah.
client that I want to see is not there, right? But when you are in the waiting room, you see people there, you strike up a conversation. But what most people do, they go and sit, and then the secretary say,
Stay stall.
"Oh, he's full of meetings today, he cannot see you," right? So you just wasted, right? Or his meeting been called for meeting somewhere, blah blah. So you're wasted there. So if you have this thing about the 3 feet rule, when you're waiting there, or even when you got to meet the client, for whatever reason, he's willing to give you, okay, you got 5 minutes. Okay.
Mm.
When you get 5 minutes and fine, you discover that no opportunity there because no new projects, there's no renewal, blah blah blah. And why you need to read the book Surrounded by Idiots, you need to gauge what kind of person he is. Is he really the kind of person who, okay, how can I help you? Nothing. Okay, finish. I got another meeting. So that one is fine. Don't bother, right? But most people have a mix of personality. they can understand that you've come all the way, you waited for them, right? Say, how can I help you? Have a seat. Normally it's always like, have a seat. I got 15 minutes. Let's see what we can do together. Fine. So that kind of personality, there are people like that, right? So this is the time when
Yeah,
you
more
start to look
considerate.
around the room, around the office, right, and strike up a conversation. Say again, 15 minutes. He said, I have nothing much I can help you because our projects have all been awarded. We have decided who are the contractors. We have even decided who are the subcontractors and subcontractors. Everything, our brand have all been specified. Uh, Frankly, you just too late for this project. Okay, so I faced that actually many times. Okay, so what I did was I just leave my name card, say Mr. Swenso. I know at this time no opportunities for me, but in case you need any help in this area pertaining to your job, project manager, whatever, give us a call. We will come and see how we can help you. And true enough, I can share with
Yeah,
you one story, a project.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I remember you told
So
me this story that you did this before.
we did this
All the project
before.
has been
All the
awarded, all the
documents,
subcon has been
the
awarded, and the software, the tool, everything has been firmed up, but you still get the job. You still get the job, right? I
yeah,
think you told me one story. Do
yeah.
elaborate. Do elaborate on that part.
We actually lost the job. It was a project called,
Even worse, you lost
it
the
was a
job. Yeah.
project called Balu. We lost half of the job because our prices were, we call ourselves the Rolls Royce or the VAF world. So the price was the Rolls Royce lah. But by
Mm,
project
mm,
budget is limited, right? So we lost half of the job already. But what I did was
mm,
I kept going because the guy is quite nice, can chat, call them, coffee, blah blah blah. Even though I got coffee only once in 2 months, one day I got a surprise call.
mm,
I said, remember you told me if I need help I can call you. I said, yeah. You want me to come to you now so I can? Because I said I was in KLC. He said, come up, fine. So we discovered that they had some problems with the design. It became overweight. And then he was like, what can you do? I was like, because I mean, things are always fixed, right? The valve weight is fixed. You know? I said, immediately, I'm not an expert so much. If you give me half a day today, I'll ask some people, I'll see what I can do. So we came up with a solution actually, and we rescued the other half of the missing job. So that year, with the job that we rescued, that completed my my target for the year, my quota for the year. So I had a few invitations like that. There are times when I couldn't do much. Like there's one time a start pipeline.
mm,
It was clear that I couldn't do much for this guy, but because I have developed a relationship with him as a friend, he called me, hey, coffee this afternoon. So I sat down with him actually 2 hours trying to think what are the solutions I can do with him. Came up with 18 solutions. Not even one can be used because it was so complex. So what happened was he said, hey, thank you so much for your time. I need a friend to talk to because I was so stuck, couldn't think about it. And after that, he was on the lookout for us for any projects. Hey, you use this company, you use this company. So we got that kind of word of mouth marketing, if you like it, right? So that's what you do, even though the opportunity is not there and there. But most sales manager would say, "Hey, you're wasting your time." Blah blah blah. You find it, you get lost. So I said, "No, I build a connection, a relationship with this guy, and even until today, people that I met 20, 30, 25 years ago still call me, hey, you got this thing." Yeah, hello, I'm already out of that distance, but if you want, I can call somebody to help you.
So this story, somehow it tells me that friendship really, supersedes, or maybe can turn around the situation that goes against you. Uh, like you will never know. You will. but never know that you're gonna win, even though the situation is actually telling you that you already lost it. Right? It's all about friendship. It's all about creating that bonding, that friendship, and never let it go. Meaning, even though you don't have anything, you just go and say hi, coffee, right?
Sometimes it's not just a friendship, is the client or the friend sees the genuine one in you to serve. I can tell you there are two, three clients that actually had a fight with them because I was so stupid. In selling, you shouldn't think about the other person as stupid, right? But when they're stupid, what to do?
Yeah.
Stupid lah. So I had arguments with them, right? I had arguments with them in their office some more. But I always still maintain my manners, my word, and so on. But when somebody lost their argument, so they don't like you anymore. But I think I posted somewhere in LinkedIn recently a lady client who basically did not want to see me anymore because the way I put my argument forward is that show that she's stupid, right? But it came to a point because I don't know, probably she detected my genuine want to help her to save money for that particular project. 3 months later, she called me. Where are you? I'm in my office, which is only one LRT station away. Come over right now. Okay. So I went there, um, helped her to do something, and you can see from her face, right? There was the gratefulness. Even though we are not on good terms, you came, you helped me, and diffused the situation. That was it. Right? So, so even now, she won't see me directly, personally. But if any one of her staff wants to see me, go ahead. Some people
Walk in.
don't do it. I went to see when I go to see the staff, right? We'll knock the office. Assalamualaikum, how are you? Right? Okay, that's it. So for me, is the two things like the genuine want to serve and also thinking about what can I do for that person within 3 feet.
Right. So, your advice to those who are into B2B, into business to business sales, what does it take to really be successful in this particular niche? Your advice.
Okay, first things first, you have to know the kind of person that you are. Right?
Mm.
So you read book again, surrounded by idiots. You find out what colors, what kind of personality you are. That sets you how you interact with people. Okay, that also shows you what kind of person that you are interacting with. Whether you should hold your temper or whatnot. But it teaches you need to be able to connect and engage with that person in front of you.
Mm.
Okay, so
Right.
that's what the book says. Or if you want to read it in Bahasa, I have a friend who also wrote a Bahasa book called Serasi, Mr. Siva. Uh, he's a president of Malaysian Association of Professional Speakers now. He write a book in Malay, in Bahasa. So you have to be able to connect, right? Connect first and then engage with that person in front of you or even surrounding you. The challenge is when you're surrounding, there's so many types of people. Or this person wants to talk, this person they want to talk, and so you have to be able to engage the room. Okay. The next thing is determine how can I help this person. Right? Yes, sure. You come with your portfolio. Right? Put your portfolio behind you first. Determine that how can I serve you? How can I help you? Because normally they would come to you back. So what do you have? That is by the time when you look at your portfolio.
Sure.
I do then sharing. Even that, don't make it so long. Unless they want to know more, they will ask more, ask more, ask more. So I mean, you have to be able to be flexible, make the time for them, uh, be with them. Because at the end of the day, once you connect already, then you want to engage, and then you want to continue that engagement. Okay. One of the thing
Mm.
I am quite known for I open the avenue for the client to close my sale. Okay, I only open it, and at the end of the day, the client will ask me, okay, if I do this, do that, what kind of duration, what kind of money it needs to be. So I can tell the estimate roughly, not I can have to put a disclaimer, right? You cannot say it's
Yeah.
exactly 50 million. You have some ideas and so on. And in my experience, there was one project that I was thinking of only 6 million. I had in mind, and the client said, okay, I need you to finish 50 million this year. I was like, I have 3 months, and how the heck do I finish 50 million for a project that's only six?
Uh,
You can solve my problem, right? Go and think how you solve it. So I said, okay, fine, I'll do that. So I actually deferred 35 million to the following year because I also got to know their budget, their procurement process. I said, this money, don't waste it. I said, if I want to tapau your money, can, but I said, let's be prudent. So he became like a hero because he had 50 million to spend. I only spent 15. He carried 35 to the next year. And the boss said, wow. So the thing is that
but
you have to continue engagement, get to know the person. It doesn't matter if you really click with that person or not, right? There's
but
one
again, Faisal,
person
not
here.
many people can is is like you. They some of them are not sweet talker like you. You can talk. You can talk like no problem. Okay. But the way you talk is very strategic. So until you bring them to a certain, destination that you want them to go. But some people they don't talk like that. They are like, I'm in B2B. Okay. I have done my, whatever personality I have. How should I approach people? But I cannot talk. But then how?
Okay, a lot of people
I think
believe
talking is
to be a
important.
good to be a good salesman, you need to talk, right? That's what most people think. But on the contrary, to be a good salesperson, people think that you have to be an extrovert, have to blah, blah. But if you read Daniel Pink's book, to be a good salesperson, you need to be an ambivert, meaning that you need to shut up, right? So you have to ask the right question. The way you ask it have to be right, which is an open-ended question lah, where, how, that kind of thing, right? And then shut up. Don't, if the guy quiet, don't try to answer for him. Just shut up. Yeah? Wait for him to answer. Because at the end of the day, even though that person is an introvert, he is kind of forced to come up with an answer. So just listen. Right? But the question that you ask, again, when I say you walk into his room, look at the things that you can ask. But don't straight away ask question like, so when do you think your company is going to buy this particular software? There is no repo, there is no question yet. You ask that kind of question, right? One client I remember, I went into his office. There was nothing. There was really nothing. No picture of children, no anything else. But there was one small model of Formula One car, Benetton. That was 20 years ago, I think. One small model. I noticed that. So that started our conversation. I
Mm.
said, oh, wow, you support Benetton or you prefer, at the time the driver was Michael Schumacher. You prefer Benetton as a brand or the team, or you support Schumacher, or you like the owner, Flavio Briatore. And I said, shoot, you know Flavio Briatore? I said, I've been following for Formula One for the last 5 years, blah, 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 blah. And he went to pump about Formula One half an hour.
All the way,
And
eh?
I asked him, Formula One, just from that one small model, right? Because at the time, I think Benetton was using blue purple car and yellow, yeah, in those days. And then so I asked, so you go alone or did you bring your family? And then he went to talk about the family after that. And he said, no lah, my wife, no way I can bring her to place like this, but my 3-year-old loves the sound, the race. And I said, so which part, the sound or... And then he went on to talk about engines, went on to talk about that, blah, blah, blah,
So
blah, blah.
icebreaker
And
is
then
key.
he's the icebreaker, and at the end of the day, about 45 minutes later, actually, what do you sell? He asked me what do you sell. I said, I do valves at the time. How can I help you? I said, I don't
Okay.
know if you're the right person
Yeah.
to help or if you have any purchase order or not. So I said, just trying to find out what you guys are doing for maintenance, who would be the right person for me to talk about maintenance, to understand your maintenance program. Then what happened was he called the guy next door. The guy came. This is the guy to talk about maintenance. And then check. That guy also happened to be a Formula One guy. So we got to talk about Formula One. Pa. Yeah, then I discovered that okay, for maintenance they have this, they have that. So I have to come and have a look at this. I try to give you the specs, see if you can meet the specs. Small order from that. Not a
Good.
big order, but a small order.
That's good.
Asking questions.
Yeah. So, okay, Faizal, we are at the end of our session. We have about 1 minute left. Any, parting words that you want to share about yourself or connection at work, or maybe wisdom, advice, anything that you want to share with the audience?
About connection at work, I think to be honest, so many things I want to tell about connection at work because we do a
One
lot of
minute.
things, not just consult. If one thing I can ask you, if you have a challenge, you feel that a client is so like stonewalling you, you cannot get in, you want to get in, or you desperate to get in, you may call, let's have coffee, let's see if I can do anything, can help you in there. Not that I can break the wall immediately, the one you will be the one breaking the wall, but I can possibly help you find ways. So all it costs you just a glass of coffee, which is normally the cold brew. That's it. I don't charge much for first meeting. After that, it depends. Revenue is big, I charge you big. No,
That's
just
good.
kidding. So,
I'm the one who's going to buy you coffee soon. Hey, Faisal, thank you so much
so can I
for your
work?
time. I'm glad that we had this conversation. I learned a lot about B2B conversation, what are the things to do successful. And until we meet again, Faisal, thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. I hope you're enjoying the session. And maybe you can take home one or two points out of Faisal's advice. And until we meet again, thank you. Okay. Bye bye.